Hi, everyone. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. How many of us have felt like by the time we've mastered something, it's already changed? Yes, this feeling of playing catch up is going to be quite common today and moving forward. And that's what I'm going to be speaking about today, especially in the context of tools. So my name is Natasha. I'm the Educational Content Director at Brainscape, a web and mobile flashcard app where we develop educational materials for exams, certifications, and languages. And I also help implement AI into processes and workflows for the people at our company. So my idea is pretty simple. I want us to be moving from a space of creating, not just creating guides and playbooks, but also looking at building a maker's mindset into the learner. And at Brainscape, I actually work a lot with the concept of spaced repetition, and that's what we're doing today because a lot of us have been speaking about similar topics. We're just weaving them in a little bit differently. So today I'm double clicking on, what is that mindset around learning that we could implement into our own learners so that they can take that learning forward when we cannot be there, because we won't be able to be there at every new tool, at every new feature, with every new workflow change. So I'm going to be leaving you with three key mindsets today. And the first one is looking at moving from mastery to curiosity. So in a slower moving environment, mastery was important. We had to learn all the features of a tool. We needed to understand the way it worked and then implement that into the workplace. But that was when tools were not changing at such a fast rate. So nowadays, we need to look more at curiosity. And I want the learner to be asking, what else can I try? So as L&D professionals, I want to be implementing this in a way that allows experimentation in safe spaces. So for example, instead of building out a course, can we have an experimentation hour where people come together and bring a workflow that they're working on or doing consistently, and perhaps asking them, how can you solve this using AI in a variety of different ways? Are there 5 different methods you could use to actually optimize this workflow? And just allow them to get creative and see that there are just a lot of different solutions nowadays, not just one. The second mindset is looking at consumption and moving towards learners designing their own workflows. So we're starting with curiosity, which is a great starting point. We're experimenting, we're trying. But how do we start moving them into beyond just curiosity and into design? So, we used to and still do create workflows that other people can adopt. So we might look at a tool and see how it implements into the things that we're already doing in organizations, and then outlining a template or a playbook that we could use. But in order to help our learners, we're going to have to move them into the design space, like we've already heard today, where they might be thinking about, how does this apply to me? What can I make? What are the challenges I'm facing? And how is this tool useful for me? So as L&D professionals, we can start by building out hackathons for technical and non-technical audiences. In fact, a lot of tech companies are actually bringing together small project-based learning where they're solving problems together. You might invite different teams to solve the same problem in different ways and have them see, hey, this tool in a different context does a completely different thing. And the last mindset is moving from curiosity to designing your own workflow to be relevant to now a space of iteration. So oftentimes when we're building out a workflow or using a tool, the first version is not the best version. In fact, it's probably a little clumsy and it's probably wrong at the beginning. And by the time we've already thought about our process, the tool might have changed. So one of the more important mindsets is for learners, how can I make this better and how can I try again? So we're moving from getting it right the first time to how can I continue to iterate on what I have just built and live in a space where the first workflow tool that I have might not be the one that I use next week to solve the same problem. So, like I said, it's pretty simple. I want us to move to a space where we're enabling the learners to be curious and ask, what else can I try on their own? I want them to lean a little into design. What can I make with this? How can I keep changing this for my own context? And I want them to be asking, how can I make this better? How can I ensure that iteration is part of my normal day-to-day workflow? And so when you look at your own learning design experiences, where can you replace instruction with experimentation? And where can you celebrate early attempts as much as results? Thank you.